Today, I want to talk about smartphone reviews. Couple of things to note. Firstly, excuse the hat and the air conditioning unit if you can hear that. It's freezing in the UK at the minute. And also excuse the racket from outside. Again, if you can hear it. There's a guy literally tearing up the road outside the studio. Can't do much about that. Anyway, you've come here to find out what I want to talk about when it comes to smartphone reviews. And this will be a bit of a different video, a bit rambly, possibly, but I needed to make it. Let me just read out 2 comments I received for my S23 Ultra switching video this week. I thought he switched to the Pixel 7 Pro and then the Fold 4. How many times can he switch? And the second one says, come on mate, you've done this switching to Android from iPhone so many times now, just with different Androids. Fair enough, and to be honest, I think I got off fairly lightly with this one. It's also getting very hot with this hat on. I haven't switched, and I did make that abundantly clear at the end of the video, although an 8-minute video seems to be beyond lots of people's patience these days. That's for another topic. Someone said, why do you carry around 2 phones? I get this quite a lot about Macs as well. People often say to me, why do you have so many Apple Macs? To which I answer, this is a business. These Macs are assets for my business, they're tools for my job, they enable me to review all this stuff and hopefully provide decent buying guidance. And the same thing goes with phones. I carry around 2 phones because I'm a tech reviewer. But these are fair questions really, because there is an argument to say that tech reviewers like myself are falling into the trap of meta reviews and, cliquey creator friendship groups and, let's be honest, troll baiting. But today I'm going to give you my side of the story behind all of this. If a tech reviewer says to you in their title or at the start of their video that they are switching from the iPhone to, let's say, the S23 Ultra, they're being economical with the truth. They're not lying and they're not pulling the wool over your eyes, but they are using that type of language to get clicks and views. Chances are they have actually switched to that phone for a brief period of time, so perhaps just for the review period, maybe a week or 2, or even a couple of months afterwards to do follow-up reviews. But they haven't literally switched from the iPhone to the S23 Ultra. I'm talking about myself as much as other reviewers here. I'm a case in point. I've got the iPhone sitting next to me. I haven't got the S23 Ultra sitting next to me because this is my main device. Having said that, if you were to take my last few smartphone reviews, either on this channel or my blog, as read, you'd be, well, I wouldn't blame you for coming to the conclusion that I constantly switch smartphones. But I don't, and the reality is quite simple. I just carry 2 phones. When I first started the Mark Ellis Reviews brand, I made the conscious decision to spend as much time in both iOS and Android as possible, and the reason for that is equally as simple. It just means that I can offer the best, or hopefully the best possible buying guidance for you guys. But the way that I use smartphones and the way that other tech reviewers use smartphones isn't typical of a normal user. We're using 2 different phones each day. Who does that? But this is why we turn to a very important creator tool, which a lot of people don't like, but unfortunately, as I'm about to reveal, it's absolutely unavoidable. I've had to go and get the S23 Ultra to make this part meaningful. So when I first published the latest video between these 2 phones, which was, like I say, a kind of I'm switching from the iPhone to the S23 Ultra video, it completely tanked. It was a 10 out of 10, and if you're a YouTuber, you'll know what that means. Basically, whenever you publish a video on YouTube, after 30 minutes, YouTube gives you a score for that video out of 10. So basically, after 30 minutes, you find out where it sits out of the last 10 videos in terms of performance, in terms of views, basically. And this was a 10 out of 10. It absolutely bombed. Now, this is annoying, frustrating, it's just absolutely horrible, and any YouTuber who tells you otherwise, I'm afraid, is lying. And there was a time when those sort of videos, those 10 out of 10s, were dead on arrival. You couldn't do anything about it. That was it. You'd have to have a little cry and just get on with your life. These days, though, you can bring them back to life, and that is through one of 2 ways. The first one is the thumbnail. The thumbnail that you picked for that video originally may not have been good enough. It may not have been tempting people to click through. The second one is the title, the video title, and again, for the same reason, really. That original title that you took, or that you chose, may just have been a bit week. In the case of this video between these two phones, it was the title that was the problem. I think the thumbnail was fine, I still think it's fine, but the title, which originally was 5 ways the S23 Ultra beats the iPhone, with beats in capital letters just to try and get people to click, we have to do that occasionally as well, didn't work at all, really didn't work. So I did the one thing any tech reviewer can do at that point. When you've got a 10 out of 10 video that isn't performing, nothing else can go wrong, you can't really make it worse, you've got nothing to lose, so what do? You turn to clickbait. And yes, we do use clickbait, it's a completely conscious decision, we're not ashamed of it. So I changed the title of this video from 5 ways the S23 Ultra beats the iPhone to iPhone fanboy switches to the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. And as I film this, it is sitting at a number 3 out of 10. So it's gone from 10 out of 10 to 3 out of 10 in less than 24 hours, just from me changing that title. Now, yes, I could maintain my artistic integrity and think, no, I'm going to keep it as a 10 out of 10. I don't care. I much prefer that title. I'm not going down the tabloid clickbait route. But I wouldn't have a business if I did that. As much as I love Mark Ellis reviews, I love making these videos for you, I'm not just doing it for fun. This is my business. It's my only source of income. And like every creator in that situation, I rely on clicks and engagement to make money. And trust me guys, as a content creator who deeply loves the process of making these videos and is very proud of the stuff that he puts out and spends an awful lot of time on these videos, it's always a bit galling when you have to turn to clickbait. I preferred that original title. I'm sure my regular viewers would have preferred it as well, but it wasn't working. And the irony of this is absolutely laughable at times, because the people who actively despise clickbait and they let you know about it in the comments and they hunt you down and tell you that you're kind of pulling the wool over your audience's eyes and all that sort of stuff, they would never find this content if it wasn't for clickbait, because it would just kind of reside at the bottom of the YouTube pile, never to be seen. There is, though, a bit of an exception to this rule. All things are not equal on YouTube, obviously that is the name of the game, and if you are a big creator, this is where the exception to the rule comes in. And when I say big creator, I mean, you've got 1 million plus subscribers, then you can definitely get away with not having to rely on clickbait. If your audience is that big, you're pretty much guaranteed consistently high views and engagement, which is why the likes of MKBHD and Peter McKinnon and all the other big guys on here, it's why they can use very nice titles and thumbnails. They're not really clickbaity, they're not tabloidy. At that top end, they have that luxury, and they've worked very hard to get to that point. At the kind of bottom end, which is where I am at the moment, for want of a better phrase, we don't have that luxury at all. We do have to do some of these things to get people to watch our videos. The challenge here, and I don't envy the audience with this at all, I absolutely sympathise with you with this, to be honest, because you see the likes of MKBHD, etc., fair titles, fair thumbnails, they're not too clickbaity, they're not too tabloidy. Then you see videos from people like myself, which are clearly a little bit, watch me, please watch me. And I can see why it's a bit annoying. I don't know what the answer to this is, guys, to be honest, and I don't think there is one really. It's just a case of continuing to make these videos, continuing to build this audience, and hopefully getting to the stage where I don't have to rely quite so much on the tabloid stuff to get people to watch, which hopefully I'll get there one day. It's not a big deal. I just thought I'd make this video for you just to give you a behind the scenes look into this stuff. I hope it's interesting anyway. And on that note, if you have any questions about this stuff, any questions about things I've raised in this video, or just stuff that's on your mind about this sort of thing, stick it in the comments and I'll get back to you. And while I've got you, if you haven't seen my I'm switching from the iPhone to the S23 Ultra video, keep watching for a link.